Hi, I'm Jodie Horgan, founder, business coach behind Complicated Coach and Complicated Co. Welcome to Complicated Conversations, the podcast for people who are building something. Whether you're just starting out, growing your own business, or somewhere in the messy middle, this is the place for honest conversations about what it actually looks like. There's no corporate nonsense, no theory, just real people, real businesses, and the conversations that most people are too polished to have in public. I'm a business coach. I work with founders and SME owners who are very smart, very capable, and doing a lot, but who need someone in their corner who gets it. Complicated Co is a clothing brand and it sponsors this podcast because the two brands are built by the same person with the same belief that complicated isn't a problem to fix, it's actually a place to start. We've been quiet.
We have been quiet, haven't we?
It makes a change, doesn't it?
Quiet on here, not so much everywhere else.
We've been quiet. For those that have been listening to our podcasts, we've been quiet because we didn't quite get it right. I think we were trying to do too much in it.
Trying to ram too much in.
Trying to put too much together, and we needed to take a step back and put identity to the podcast and ourselves. I think we were trying to be too many things to too many people.
We're trying to ram too much in and the outcome's not being what we wanted them to be.
Yeah,
that's the key, the takeaways.
Absolutely. So we stopped for a while, we've paused, we've recalibrated, and we've come back today with a clear answer and a clear way forward, and we're just going to draw that line in the sand. We're pivoting, aren't we, Bab?
Yeah,
and
same friend.
Yeah, and the purpose and the identity of this podcast is helping people who are starting out in business, growing their own business, or they might be a little bit in the messy middle, because they're the people that I speak to on a day-to-day and week-to-week at different parts of the journey.
Definitely.
The business journey. And there's so much I can talk about to help people, and it's going to be a case of getting different guests on as well, and I've got a little queue of people.
Yeah, and that's exciting because I think bringing different personalities, different backgrounds.
Absolutely.
Give it variety as
Yeah,
well. And there'll be certain things, like you say, we were trying to do too many things to too many different people. I think this will actually be specific to what people want to hone in on and what they don't.
So I'm going to be talking more as just a coach and talking to people in different walks of business life and making sure there's clear, concise takeaways.
You're seeing less of me, guys, which is a bad thing.
Unless you go to the gram.
Jodie already sees too much of me anyway, so she's great. She doesn't have to sit here for hours.
I'm also going to explain, I've got a vest on because it's 100 degrees outside.
Yeah, we are filming this on one of the hottest
days. I know,
days.
it is so warm. Now, one of the things that sort of triggered this pivot, well, that's a mouthful, was my mentor Laura, and I'm going to be getting Laura on here as well in a couple of weeks. She gave us the realisation that we've got to focus on one thing in each platform, and I think there's so much you want to give and you want to
do it all the time.
I know.
And actually the reality is, when there is only the two of you, like there is here, when you're focusing on one thing, you think, oh, okay.
Yeah, I think actually being clear for the person listening.
Yeah.
Because when they're listening to us talk about coaching to then clothing to then targets.
It's too confusing, and actually it's confused us less, hasn't it? By having that focus of one at a time, focusing on one thing per coaching, per clothing. I think it's really helped our focus, hasn't it?
Yeah.
When did you actually realise after having that session with Laura, or thinking that it needed a clearer direction?
I think one thing I not do enough of, and I would say this is symptomatic of a lot of business owners, when you're in the weeds and when you're in it, it's hard to take a step back to look over it. And the great thing about having people around you, whether it's a coach, mentor, colleague, it's that person to pick you up out of it, to go, just look over there, and then they pop you back in it.
Yeah.
You've done that today, haven't you? And I'm like, oh, never thought of that. With the podcast, Laura did say it's confusing. And she knows what we're doing, but putting herself in the shoes of else. So, yeah, we've streamlined, reset, we've got clear direction, and the whole purpose of this will be helping other people out, helping businesses, taking them on the journey with us, which is the same journey as they're on.
A lot of them are people that you work with on the ground. A lot of them are like small business owners.
Yeah.
Kind of businesses. They're not categorising.
Yeah.
Completely different to what we're doing. That element of variety related to bits of all the small business owners that are out there. They might not necessarily do coaching, clothing, whatever we would normally talk about, but actually getting people in that are small business owners that do different things.
Yeah, I think if I was to really concisely, which I do struggle with sometimes, that's why sometimes I have to have notes, describe what the podcast is. It's a business coaching podcast for people building their own thing on their own, and it's as simple as that. And it's helping decomplicate, hence complicated coach.
That's it. You've just answered the question of reining in on that target audience.
And it's not going to turn into a sales podcast, to be people coming on with their stories, sharing their mistakes, sharing their wins and different things that will benefit others.
It's a conversation. So who do you think this is for? Who's your listener? Who's our listener?
So our listener's someone running their own business or running a business, or thinking about doing that, someone that's going to start their own business. I think I said at the beginning, they're smart people, they're very capable people, but they're mainly doing it alone. I find value in podcasts where I can relate to that journey, and there's not actually that many podcasts out there that support us small, medium entrepreneurs. They're Googling things that they should probably be talking through. And that's what I want to help them when it gets complicated, by talking about either my complicated or the guests' complicated.
What's different about the conversations that we're going to be listening to now in comparison to what we were talking about?
They're going to be a lot more focused. There's going to be a guest on most podcasts. There might be value in the odd one, me doing it on my own when I'm feeling brave enough. You never know. But it's going to connect the reality of running a business. So whether it's money, mindset, pivoting, hiring, firing, pricing, burning out. It's the stuff that keeps people like me and other founders up at night. So it's purely going to be focused on that.
Sounds exciting. We've spoke about our first guest on the podcast, your first guest.
Yeah, I reckon it's going to be interesting from a mentor's perspective. So yes, Laura has been my mentor over the past year, and it's been interesting. It's interesting when you've got a mentor that, and she says it sometimes on voice notes or when we meet, I know you probably hate me for saying this, but you need that person to challenge you, and sometimes that tear apart something you might have done that was completely off the strategy. And so I'm looking forward to that conversation.
Definitely.
I'm scared.
No. So what would you say you know now from coaching founders, being on the ground with them?
I think the key thing is the loneliness of doing it in isolation. They don't have a board of directors. A lot of people don't have a coach or mentor, whether it's because they don't realise they need it or they can't invest in that. They've got a partner at home that is supportive but doesn't necessarily get it, and a group chat full of people who are probably too polite to tell the truth.
Yeah, well, you know how it is.
They Google ChatGPT and they consume probably too much content that makes them feel like they should be a lot further along than they are. Then that's where the self-doubt kicks in, and then you don't talk to people who have been in their situation. So I find that when I do get together with my clients, that it just helps them realise that it's okay where they are, and just a bit of support of going in the right direction. And the podcast, I want to create that room of other directors, of other colleagues, the conversation that you'd have with the person. That's going to be the key objective from it.
And how special that you've been there, that you say we're still navigating being a small business, and how lovely that is that you're such a relatable person to be that person for someone else as well, which is very rare. It's honestly very rare. We spoke about coaching so much, and I think coaching, there's so many different coaches for different things, and when actually not everyone is qualified, not everyone necessarily knows when they're talking about coaching. Is it coaching or is it counselling? Is it this, is it that? I think it's really important to define that.
Absolutely.
But doing what you're doing whilst you're going through this experience as well is just amazing, that you're able to really share from real life experience, which not many, anyone can go and get a qualification and say that they're a coach, but the lived experiences is what will make you different.
I'm not here to be negative about some of the practices out there, but you're so right, there's so much in having been there, done that, the mistakes, made the successes, and you can help share that through coaching and mentoring. So it's just a good way of giving back. One of the people I've got lined up for the series is an accountant, and she primarily works with small businesses and startups, and she's brilliant, isn't she?
She's got the patience of a saint.
She has to work with us.
That's why I thought that's what made me think.
So we've got an accountant talking about what your accountant sees that you don't, which I think is actually okay to admit as well. Yeah, a lot. We've got Laura in respect of mentoring and what a mentor actually looks like, and we're going to talk about me as a mentee. We're going to have someone talking about the loneliness of running a business. Then Eleanor is going to come on and talk about retail. She had a retail space and no longer. Who else have I got lined up? I've got an accountability coach who is rolling out the platform and membership. Now, she has tips that she's going to share with us as well, because when you're on your own, it's hard to hold yourself to account. Like, you hold me to account.
And you hold me.
And that's...
I think as long as you've got one person.
But I think a lot of people don't.
That's the thing, isn't it?
That's going to be a really interesting conversation. We have a business that has succeeded in getting themselves into Selfridges, which I'm very excited about.
You know, we love Selfridges.
Hopefully, we've got a best-selling author coming on. I'm not going to spoil the surprise. So yes, we've got a queue of people that are going to come and talk about their messy middle, and I cannot wait. And there'll be value in us doing another podcast together as well.
This is like our reflection time, I find. We sit down here. But I'm excited. I think the new direction will be really beneficial to everyone listening. To the guest.
I'm thinking we do Appraise Your Boss podcast.
Wow, I like the sound of that.
Start my...
Nah, she's joking. I'll just tell you as it comes to my mind. I'm one of them people.
I know, but let them hear it. Let's do it. Thank you.
Thank you. This is fun. Sweaty.
So if this resonated, please follow us, subscribe. We're on Instagram, and most importantly, if you know someone who is building something, doing it alone, then please send them this episode. That is the whole point of me doing it. So I'm Jodie Horgan, this is Complicated Conversations, and I'll see you on the next one. And just one more time, this episode is brought to you by Complicated Co. Organic cotton tees with single words on them. Complicated UK.